Hey, everybody, welcome back to the All Sports Matter podcast. We starting early tonight. Yes, we got a very special show for y'all. We got some breaking news, some headline news, and things going on in baseball. Y'all ready? We ready. It's All Sports Matter.
Shine through.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to All Sports Matter. I am your host, JB, back in the seat, as it were, after a brief hiatus last week. Although last week it was pretty good, so I might have to let Amir step in every once in a while to take over because that was pretty great, just sitting back and listening to everybody talk. But this week we got a whole lot to talk about, so I'm not gonna waste y'all time. Let's bring in my brothers, Fleck. Amir, jump in here. Let's see what we got.
What's up, good people? What's up?
What's going on in social media world? Facebook, YouTube.
The tube.
Do it.
So we go jump right into it. Y'all saw the breaking news yesterday. We had a 1-for-1 prisoner swap. Brittany Griner has come home. Free BG. Now there's some people that was upset because it was a basketball player that was gotten and not some other folks that was over there. But U.S. tried to do a 2-for-1 swap. Russia wouldn't do it. What's y'all take? What's y'all opinion, real quick?
Yeah. I don't. My opinion may not be popular. I guess just like when we vote, we don't go for the popular vote. We go for those electoral votes. Right. I think that's about as political as I'm going to get on that one. But for us, for me, I can only speak for me, myself and I. I don't agree with it. I'm not saying leave her over there. I am dead set, like dead middle of it. First off, 9 years was just way too much. That was crazy. So, but everybody already said it. The moment they kept her locked up, and the moment they already said that she was guilty without even going to trial, everybody knew she was going to be a political pawn. That was the obvious.
Yep.
That was, that's not an opinion. That's a fact. So, with that being said, I don't think that trade, that was kind of like, and I'm trying to keep it sports related. That was kind of like when the Red Sox traded Mookie Betts to the Dodgers and got Alex Verdugo and a bag of corn chips. I don't know what they was thinking. I don't know what. Obviously, LA won the trade. That's just.
I mean, it was a fancy bag of corn chips, sir.
Yeah, so I don't. I'm just trying to find the equivalent. That's like when Herschel Walker got traded for all those draft picks or whatever, and that ended up being the Cowboys dynasty, obviously.
Right.
Again, I am trying to keep it sports related because that's what we do. We are sports, podcasters. But geez, I don't agree with that trade whatsoever. And I think that's about as PG for BG. I'm going to keep it.
We traded Patrick Mahomes for, I don't know, Brandon Wheaton. I don't know. No, I mean,
what?
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm glad she's home. I pretty much echo what my line of thinking is pretty much the same line of thinking that Amir said. He touched all the major points that I would have touched on that. But I mean, we traded. I mean, that's John Wick we let out, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I know Beth just said the Marine who the Russians have was dishonorably discharged for larceny. I mean, but that's not
right.
There's others.
Not relevant.
It's not relevant at all. There are others that are over there as well. I mean, it's. I'm looking at it for what it was. You know what I mean? Like we traded an imprisoned basketball player who, you know, yes, 9 years is too much for a vape pen, but I mean, those are Russian laws or whatever. We said that when we first when it first happened that, you know, it was going to get political, which, you know, we're not going to touch that here, but we said that then it's going to get political, and that's exactly what happened. You know what I mean? I just thought that, you know, maybe, just maybe, we would get a little bit more out of the deal.
Right. So, you know, basically what you're saying is apples to oranges because it's a sports star for a contract killer.
I mean, no, for a notorious arm dealer. Like, dude, red for global. What is it?
Right. And,
like that, you have to do some evil stuff to get put on that list. Exactly. Like, you know, they don't just put, you know, your run of the mill drug dealers on that list.
I know regular degulars.
You know what I mean? So,
but you know, we not getting into political stuff. We not saying, oh, they should have got the Marine, they should have did this. We're not saying none of that. We just reporting news. She came home. Is people mad that they didn't do a 2-for-1? The government did try to do a 2-for-1, but Russia did not want to do that. So at this point,
Russia wanted a 3-team trade. They wanted to include Germany. This just came out today. They wanted to do a 3-team trade for somebody that was in Germany that Russia wanted. Right. Just for the record, you know, just want to throw it out there.
You know? We're not. This isn't a political show.
No, it's not. It's not.
No, not you. I'm in the comment section now.
Oh yeah,
I'm in the comment section now.
I'm just throwing the facts out there.
Right.
You know, so we're not. It is what it is, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel as though
I don't 100% agree with it, and that's okay. That's my opinion. I'm not trying to force my opinion on anybody else.
This trade should have been vetoed, like the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers.
Damn.
It should have. I'm
veto in here. Or like when he got Jamal Charles for like a bag of pig.
Why you gotta bring up the Chris Paul to the Lakers? That was hurtful in so many ways back then, because I was very excited to see Kobe and Chris Paul play together. But we can go
right now?
Huh? I do. I got on number 1 seed right now. But we could we could go all day on this. We can go down the rabbit hole, but we don't want to do that because
that's how bad the West is.
Right.
Why you open that door?
Right. But we not a political show. So, but you did bring up.
Him was looking at. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You did bring up the Lakers in a failed trade between New Orleans and Los Angeles. Let's bring up a good trade between New Orleans and Los Angeles with the Pelicans right now, because they are currently, like I just said, in number 1. Are they actual contenders right now?
I mean, right now, yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're the number 1 seed. So, I mean, how can you argue against? But like, man, you were looking at before we came on air.
Right.
The top 13 teams in the West are separated by 6 games. You know what I mean? Like, from 1 to 13, there's only 6 games in between.
Right.
So, I mean, it's going to be fluid the whole season, I think.
Right. And I think the question that I was asking was, have they turned the corner from last season? Because you saw how they started last season and how they ended last season. Is this a continuation from last season, how it ended? And can they continue to rise, or did they hit that plateau and this is where they go be?
You don't put a roster together of CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, I'm missing one on top.
The
of
Herb
my head.
Jones,
little thief,
Jonas
the little
Valanciunas,
thief.
Right,
Jose
Valanciunas.
Alvarado.
So-
Alvarado, yeah, the little thief. That's what I call him. the
Even
little
though Alvarado's playing his butt off, I really believe they're still a point guard away from being a true number one. But in the same aspect, to answer your question, are they contenders? Yes, obviously. I'm gonna go. The easy answer is yes. They are contenders. They won't be number one. You know, I don't think they're gonna be bad as Utah and drop down. You know, go 2-8 or 2-10, whatever they did, and drop from 1 to 10. But health is always going to be the question when it comes to the Pelicans. Can Zion finish the season? Can Brandon Ingram not hurt himself, taking big blows and stay healthy? Health will always be a question for the Pelicans, and as long as they stay healthy, they will be contenders.
And you're talking about health. They're doing this. They're on this 5-game winning streak without Brandon Ingram, without Herb Jones, because both of them have been hurt this whole time. Zion Williamson has been averaging 28 a game during this time, but they were winning without Zion earlier in the year too, when he had to sit out a couple of games. So I feel like Willie Green came in and he had the formula for how to get these guys to mesh together, because there's a bunch of young guys down here, and it seems like they're just having fun as far as I can tell.
And that's
a bunch of talented young guys.
Yeah, I was about to say
are.
a lot of
Yes.
talented young players, and that's the thing. Like they had to figure out how to gel together.
Right.
They got it figured out. I mean,
you got CJ McCollum running the point.
Again, that West, you know what I'm saying? Like, yes, they are the cream of the crop right now, but that West is fluid, man.
The West
I think you'll see a lot of flip-flopping. You know, I don't think they'll drop out of the playoff picture, but I think there will be a lot of flip-flopping going on out West.
Right. The West is fluid, but the East is not so fluid. It might be some flip-flopping or fluidity between the top two teams, but the rest of the East, they're what? There's 16 games in between 1 and 10. And the number one
between 1 and 4.
Right. And number one is right behind you, the Celtics. Can anybody stop them the way they're playing right now?
Yeah.
Well, the easy answer is yes.
Yeah. I mean,
the question should have been, will they?
Exactly.
All right, that's the question. Will they be stopped?
I think if anybody can do it, is Milwaukee.
It'll be Milwaukee.
They have a size advantage. Also, they match up skill set. But outside of that, unless a team gets hot and Miami gets their heads out their butt, and Chicago can pull all together, can Cleveland?
And that's
still a year or two away.
That's who they struggle with. They struggle with Cleveland for whatever reason.
Well, Cleveland,
I don't know what it is about Cleveland that they seem to struggle, but they struggle with Cleveland.
Cleveland put together a pretty tight little team in the offseason.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Cleveland, you know what I'm saying? But if, like Amir was saying, if Boston is gonna struggle, is gonna be either Milwaukee or, for whatever reason, Cleveland. I don't think any of the other teams in the East can match up in a 7-game series. But if I had to say who could beat Boston right now in a 7-game series, I'd probably go with the mirror and say Milwaukee. And you got to keep in mind, though, Boston is doing that without their best defensive player. Robert Williams still has not played at all this season. So it's only going to get better.
All right. Marcus Smart is back, right?
Yeah, Marcus Smart. Yeah, he's playing. But Robert Williams hasn't played at all. Robert Williams hasn't played in a game yet this season.
The way they blew out the Suns the other night was just childish. I want to point that out to everybody. That was just extremely childish, and they don't need to do that again. But I was happy they did it, because
I was about to say we did that for you and the Pelicans.
That propelled them to the top. I appreciate you. And you brought up, you said something, or Amir. Well, no, you said something that it seems like the only team, one of the only teams that seem to have their number is Cleveland. So Cleveland sports they've had their up and down years. The football team ain't never been worth nothing, but this year they went ahead and let go of somebody in football. You saw him go to Carolina, and then you saw him get released, and then he went to Los Angeles. And as improbable as it is, 2 days later, he led a comeback drive against the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, quadruple D. I'm looking at you. Yo, Raiders. They went out just like the Saints did, the same exact way on Monday. They was up 13 or 16-3 and then ended up losing 17-16. So, I mean, is this the right fit for Baker over with Sean McVay, or was it just the case of it being the Raiders?
For me, it was one game. Let's see him the rest of the season. I mean, McVay's going to help him. They got a mutual liking for each other, him and Mayfield. So if he's gonna reinvent himself, it's gonna be in that McVay system.
Right. But do you think that the lights might be too bright in Los Angeles for him to reinvent himself the way he need to?
Not right now, because
they had the bottom.
Rams ain't doing nothing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They're not going to the playoffs, so they're not. I mean, he's just free to go out there and play ball. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's going to have a expectation this year in that Rams system. He can help himself. I don't think he can hurt himself.
All right. Okay. Amir, what you got?
So at halftime, I posted yesterday.
You say it's the Raiders.
Baker Mayfield ain't playing halfback. And
quote myself. An apology too.
That was at halftime when I posted that. They were down at halftime.
Tito owes them an apology.
Even when they were down, he was moving the ball with a bad O-line, a terrible O-line. Max Crosby was eating that right side alive. Max Crosby was back there every other snap. It was ridiculous. But
Chandler Jones was getting in there too.
With that being said, Max Crosby only had a half a sack, which means Baker. Yes, look it up.
No.
Credit him with half a sack for the game. With that being said, because he pushed him away, he ran off, got sacked by Chandler Jones and some other guys. But Crosby only got credit for half a sack. But with that being said, Mayfield got rid of the ball fast. He wasn't holding it. He wasn't looking at those projections. He was dinking and dunking, but he was moving the ball. Fumble cost him with Cam Akers. A missed field goal cost him. That game should have been over, or at least been tied up if those turnovers didn't happen. So I saw him moving the ball, something we ain't seen Baker Mayfield do all season. Now, he got comfortable in the pocket, made some plays with Van Jefferson, made some plays with the White Cooper Cup, Squirrel, whatever that guy's name is. And he made some great catches. I'll give him credit for that. And Alford, the other kid, a wide receiver.
Atwell.
Austin, something like that.
Atwell.
Huh?
Atwell.
I knew it was an A. Him and Baker was in sync. And it was looking like they were playing backyard football. It was like, hey, just cross, I got you. And we'll figure it out.
And I think
I'm saying all that to say that he looked comfortable. He looked like he belonged on the field. He didn't do that his last year in Cleveland. He didn't do it at the beginning of the season with the Panthers. Now, we all know they're not playing for anything, and I'll be short here in a second. They're not playing for anything. He can go out there and just play football. He will not return to the Rams next year because Stafford will come back healthy. But he will definitely get a lot of suitors come next season if he plays the way he played last night.
And I think a lot of that last night had to do with, I mean, like you said, he looked he was playing school ball, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because he didn't really know the playbook. So I mean, and he admitted, on the post game interview that I think he said like 60% of the time he was going in the huddle and just telling the guys which route to run versus which play to run.
Run to the Cadillac, turn around.
Like run the end route.
Plays. That's it.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So I mean, I give him props for being able to get to even, you know what I'm saying, whether he won last night or not, I give him props for not even being in LA 48 hours and was able to compete the way he did, period.
Exactly, and bring the team back. And Brian said, what if he goes undefeated from here on out? He just go show another team that he ready to play, and they might take a chance on him. But
he has
he's not
nothing to
gonna be
lose.
back with the Rams.
He's gonna get another chance.
Right. He doesn't have nothing
You know
to
what I
lose.
mean?
So.
Like, that's not even a question. He's gonna get another chance. It's just gonna be how serious of a chance is he gonna get? You know,
Tito,
what I mean?
oh, go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say, Tito, it absolutely can be that the Raiders coaching was that bad, because I mean, it's the Raiders. I said that at the beginning of the season.
What was Carr doing when he just tossed it up?
I don't know. I have no idea. Derek Carr.
I was so confused on that one.
What did perplex me though was, you know what I'm saying, on that final drive, why were the Raiders playing press coverage? When they had no timeouts, got to go 98 yards. Why are you playing press coverage? Play off. Let him dink and dunk it. Run out of time.
The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I didn't understand that part of it.
But you know,
it's a lot of questionings.
It is.
McDaniels has a lot to answer for. His coaching credentials is definitely going to be in question. He's lost 5 double-digit leads this season? 4 or 5?
I think it was 4, but let me check.
Yeah, it's.
I just saw something about it.
But said he'll be with the Rams, team-friendly deal, not with Stafford.
Not with
Stafford. But, you know,
that's gonna happen. Now let me ask y'all this, because we saw it was a few notable injuries that happened this past weekend. We had Lamar Jackson go down. Jimmy Garoppolo went down with a broken foot that won't require surgery. He'll be back 7 to 8 weeks. So they're talking about, you know, going with the rookie, which Brock Purdy came in. He looked all right, which in a Kyle Shanahan system, all you need to do is be able to be a game manager. So if you can manage the game like he did, I think he'll do all right until somebody else can come in there, unless he go up in there and just blaze the hell out of Tom Brady. Then what do you do then? So do you see Garoppolo going somewhere else, or you see him being back with the 49ers like he was this year?
I think he's gone regardless, because at some point Trey Lance is going to be back, and they're going to want to see what they got there. I mean, I don't know. You're the 49er fan. What you think?
You know, the way I look at it, I'm good with it either way, if he stays or if he goes, because the system will kind of allow for a quarterback to come in there. If Kyle Shanahan, the way he drew it up for Trey Lance, the hardest part was transitioning back from Trey Lance to Garoppolo, because Shanahan had the system to where, you know, he got a running quarterback, he got a dual threat quarterback. Now I think that's why the transition to Brock Purdy was so easy, because he's not a dual threat quarterback. He's more in line with Garoppolo, so it was an easier transition. Now I think Garoppolo, I think it's a possibility that he does come back, especially with the fact that he got hurt. I don't know how many people will go out there and try to get him. He didn't have to have surgery, so it may be easier. So I think he will have suitors, because you saw he came in and he started winning. So I think he will have suitors, but I feel like it's a possibility that he will come back to the 49ers. He and Kyle have that relationship, and John Lynch. So I think it's a possibility that he'll be back.
I'm about to say something totally unpopular, and I said it before. Trey Lance got to go. Trey Lance is not that dude. The little bit that we've seen of him, and I do mean a little bit, he hasn't been that guy. He's not accurate. He doesn't go through progressions. He runs into traffic instead of away from traffic. He goes out there, and obviously because of injuries, he goes out there and plays like a rookie. But because he gets injured, he gets set back every season. So he goes back to coming out of college, learning the system all over again, playing ball. And the 49ers, John Lynch and Shanahan knows what's best. You go what you know. You find a way to make it work with Garoppolo and Purdy, especially if Purdy goes to these last few games. throwing 250, 2 touchdowns, and minimizes those turnovers, you got a winning quarterback. Who do you have? You have Garoppolo. You got Garoppolo 2.0. But that works for you. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have to be pretty. He doesn't have to throw it on. You don't have to be Mahomes or Josh Allen or all these other quarterbacks. You win. You know who else you win with? You win with a Tannehill, who's outside of the turnovers, 250, 2 touchdowns, and they win ugly. But guess what? You win. That's why you don't move on. You threw Malik Willis in there. He had no idea what he was doing. And I get it. He's a rookie. And I'm not trying to pick on teams. I'm just saying these rookies are not it yet. Trey Lance ain't it yet. Stick with what you know. Garoppolo, and let's see what Purdy got, because he got no choice but to see what Purdy got.
Right.
But how do you
2.0?
Right. You got Mr. Irrelevant
from Lance though.
But that was the biggest difference between Lance and Purdy. You see Brock Purdy going through his progressions on every play. He was going through his progressions. He was threading the needle. He was getting it in.
But Niners got a good O-line. They give you time for that.
Right. So, but they give you time, and it's the same O-line that Trey Lance had.
Tennessee don't, by the way.
They do not. Trey Lance was there for like 2 seconds, and he tuck and run. But I think that's a part of Shanahan too, though, because Shanahan told he had a completely different playbook for Trey Lance. So it was basically, if you don't see nothing in 2 seconds, you need to run. Don't go through your progressions. You need to run after 2 seconds. So I think that's on Shanahan and Brian Griese, to where, okay, you still need to treat him like a quarterback and make sure he knows how to do progressions as a quarterback. Don't treat him as a runner. That never works for Kyle Shanahan. And he saw that with RG3. You trying to treat him like a runner instead of a quarterback.
How do you move on from Lance though?
You got Garoppolo still sitting there.
But I'm saying like you're not going to release him. You spent 3 first-round picks to get him.
You're right.
You're not going to just let him go.
Accidents happen.
Accidents do happen. So but you haven't even had a chance to unwrap this toy and play with it fully yet.
Exactly. So
you got it unwrapped and then it broke.
The only thing you can do
is keep sending it back to the store. Like you said, it breaks.
Right. The only thing you do is try again and don't pick up that 5th-year option. Just if you
haven't even gotten to the 3rd year yet, right?
Exactly. So
year, right?
This is
2nd year. This is
year. He was drafted last year.
Yeah, it's 2.
He was drafted last year. This is year 2. Next year will be year 3.
Yeah. Yep. Last year, because he got drafted with Trevor Lawrence and all them guys, Zach Wilson. So,
and they played 3 seasons.
No, they didn't.
No, bro. He was a rookie last year with Justin Fields.
No, I'm saying Trevor Lawrence,
Mac Jones. No, they haven't. They were drafted last year.
It was rookie.
That dude looked like
those rookies last year.
Yeah, they were rookies last
year. Travis Etienne got drafted,
season,
and he was down.
Urban Meyer's first and only season.
Yeah,
he drafted.
I'm just saying, Sunshine. I feel like he's been in the league forever. That's all I'm saying.
That's because you remember him from Remember the Titans.
That's because he's been getting beat up.
Yo, so Tito said if Baker, what did he say? If Baker can get a job, Jimmy G can be traded. How can he be traded? He ain't got no contract after this year.
What that mean? I don't know what you mean.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something sneakily, I guess is the word.
I'm coming.
I want to see how Desmond Ridder does in Atlanta.
Okay.
He got 4 games.
They have to.
Yeah.
They have to see what they got.
He doesn't have to win. So there's no pressure on Atlanta. He doesn't have to win. But we need to see if he plays the game without the turnovers, if he can move the ball, etc. Him and Drake London can match up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if they got a quarterback, if they don't have a quarterback in Desmond Ridder, Baker Mayfield can fit in that system as well.
I think with them, because they're not competing, I don't know if they'll go out and take that chance on a Baker Mayfield when they'll probably have a high enough draft pick next year that they could dip back into the rookie pool and get, a quarterback on another rookie contract and see what they got there.
So you want to take You want to draft another quarterback?
I think that's why they're playing Ritter now, to see what they got. I mean, he was a 3rd-round pick, so it's not like, they're dipping back in the pool after drafting a quarterback in the 1st round last year. He was a I think he was a 3rd-round pick, 3rd or 4th-round pick. So it's not like they're dipping back in to the 1st round again, picking a quarterback. That's a 3rd, 4th rounder. They're going to see what they got with him. If he comes out and ball, they got their quarterback. If they don't, no harm, no foul. Let's go. We got a high draft pick this year. Let's take one high.
Yeah, all right. I mean,
I got a question for one of our viewers, right? I think he said he's watching. David Leroy Harding. Yeah. How do you drop Drake London off your team when you haven't won a game? I'm hoping he's watching, but I have to ask that question.
He ain't win a game, so
wasn't it? Tito dropped him first. If you're talking about in SH, Tito dropped him.
Terrible.
I'm talking about SH.
Yeah, Tito
when he hasn't won a game.
Terrible.
He hasn't won a game and dropping Drake London.
Tito dropped him first. I was upset.
He's giving up on this year and quite possibly next year.
Horrible.
Hey, look, if Betts is still in here, I think isn't Harding playing Betts this week?
I ain't paid attention. I don't know.
It's horrible.
I'm gonna check that because I think he got a chance to beat Betts. Yeah, he playing Betts this week. I think he got a chance to beat Betts.
Every time I play Betts, he always got the whole Chiefs offense. I don't know how it happens.
Nah, that's Amir that's got the whole Chief offense.
Y'all just be cheating, so I don't care no more. But look, you talking about players going other places. OBJ didn't went all over the place and still ain't got a contract. Is he gonna sign? And because he probably won't be ready to play until January. So
Dallas was
the easy answer. Before you get your technical answer,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Like, I'm gonna give you the easy answer, and I'm gonna say no. Because not only is he not even healthy enough to practice right now, he is killing his own claim by posting a day. Regular season don't mean nothing. I'll be ready for playoffs. You ain't got a contract. Why are you talking? And it's players like that give themselves a bad name. Even the Cowboys, who's been known to take chances on bad personal players, good talent, but issued players. They was like, yeah, no, we're not doing that with OBJ if he can't perform now, which kind of makes sense because you're playing for standings now. You don't bring in somebody in the postseason just because his past dictates that he's good enough. You don't interrupt that locker room. And OBJ has always been known to be an interrupter. So the easy answer is no. Now go ahead and get the technical answer.
The technical answer was going to be your easy answer. I don't think he's ready right now. Like you said, he's his own worst enemy right now. You know what I mean? Like you sit here and you want to go on the free agency tour, but you're not even going to be ready, and there's no telling when you're going to be ready. If Jerry Jones comes out and says, "Hey, we're gonna pass on that right now," if Jerry Jones comes out and says that, then yeah,
He don't pass on anybody.
Exactly.
He signed Greg Hardy right after he beat that girl.
Exactly.
Like, he's available. We'll work that out later. Like Jerry Jones has always been known for signing some questionable players. They'd be like, "My bad."
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So if he's sitting there saying, "Yeah, we're gonna pass for now," then yeah, it's gonna be tough to get him.
But two-part question: I do see him getting signed by the Giants. The Giants have nothing to lose at this point, honestly. And if they make the playoffs, and that's a big if, because they got a tough schedule down the way. Eagles this weekend, Vikings, Eagles again. Another team, I forgot. But I think they signed OBJ just out of we're preparing for next season. So for the Giants' sake, it'll be smart to pick him up because they have no weapons in New York / New Jersey. So I can see him going to the Giants. And his last few tweets, other than boasting himself in the playoffs has been about him and Saquon. So,
who might not play this weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
So that one hurt Samir's feelings.
That hurt my fantasy.
Well, I picked up Breida, so hopefully that works out in that aspect. But they're playing the Eagles anyway. I wasn't really counting on Barkley to go off.
True.
Yeah. And it's not like you really need him. It's not like you really need him right now anyway, because your position is pretty much set.
The Giants will be the smart ones to pick him up now and not wait till the offseason. If I'm the Giants, I will sign for a few years.
And so
that's going to be the thing. Is anybody going to give him a multi-year deal this season?
The Giants will, because they're counting on future seasons.
So
they
you
have no weapon.
The Giants will go pull the Rams and try to pull the petty play so nobody else can sign him.
I would if I was the Giants. They don't have Gettleman anymore. So and they have Barkley under contract. And that's Barkley's best friend.
Well, you
got to think 8 steps ahead.
All I'm saying is if you sign New York Football Giants, if you sign OBJ, do not let him get on the boat.
I won't even let him get on the field. I'll sign him and don't play him. Be honest with you.
Don't let him do nothing. But, yeah, they go on a boat trip and take their shirts off again. We all remember what happened when they took that picture.
Which was the last time they made the playoffs, by the way.
It was.
Just want to throw that out there.
It was. Fleck, what's going on with your team, man? Why they just firing general managers all willy-nilly?
Thank God. He needed to be gone. He overstayed his welcome by about 3 seasons. John Robinson, man, if the NFL draft started in the second round, he would be an MVP. With his first round picks outside of Jeffrey Simmons are a bust or not even in the league anymore. Talking about you, Isaiah Wilson.
Oh, don't be doing that, man, like that. That's messed up.
I'm just saying, like,
look him in his eyes.
First round pick from last year, Caleb Farley. He's having surgery again this year. Like, dude cannot draft to save his butt.
But Dory Jackson was doing good with the Giants, though, before he got hurt.
But
even with him, like,
I mean, he drafted AJ Brown
in the second round. He was not drafted in the first round. Again, he drafted Derrick Henry in the second round. That's what I'm saying. If the draft started after the first round,
it's too much pressure on him. It's too much pressure in the first round.
I mean, he also traded AJ Brown for a bag of peanuts.
He did.
That is about as bad as the trade for BG and the arms dealer. Just want to throw that out there.
Worse. It's worse.
Oh, but you know what? You talk about
AJ Brown though. I ain't got no hard feelings toward him.
Now you don't. But
no, when it happened, I said not him. It's not his fault he got traded.
All right.
He did everything he was supposed to do.
You're right. It's a business.
You're right. He wanted to stay. He wanted the same contract.
He did.
So Vrabel wanted him back.
Yeah, it's the business of
the GM was literally the only one that wanted him gone for whatever reason.
Because you see why. I mean, he did the same thing like when the Pelicans had that boy down here. That he was just trash. But, it is a money thing. He acted like it was coming out of his own pocket. Speaking of that, Fleck, money, people was real upset because your boy, Coach Prime, decided to take the money and go to Colorado. They said, Coach Prime, you're a sellout. We thought you had the HBCUs back, but you just going for the money.
I'm not gonna ever get mad at somebody for getting paid.
I don't personally think that it was about the money, and I'm not mad that he did go and take the money. Because when he signed with Jackson State, number one, you're paying the man $300,000 a year, and the majority of that he gave to the school to help
with the facilities and stuff.
Right. So yes,
this is my thing.
And all the people who out there getting mad talking about, oh, he a sellout, he leaving just for the money. If you got offered a job right now for $5 more, I guarantee you'll quit your
$2
job.
more. They gone.
Shut up. Go sit down somewhere. talking about he just wanted the money. He'll sell out. Then you will sell out too. So go sit down. Stupid.
Here's my thing. He did what a lot of people couldn't do. He brought shine to the HBCUs. College Game Day, came and did a show at an HBCU. Never happened before. 5- and 4-star players looking at HBCUs. Never happened before. Everybody's saying, "Oh well, he ran out on the kids." Well, I mean, I was looking at a Twitter feed today where a lot of the Jackson State players
he's bringing
are like, "Hey, do your thing." We're not mad at him,
right?
He's bringing a bunch of players with him too,
and he's bringing a bunch of players
right.
with him.
And what else do you want him to do? He went over there. He won 2 SWAC championships off the rip. As soon as he got there, he won the championship. So what else you want to do?
I'm not mad.
I was listening to the Breakfast Club on the way to work, and they had Dr. Umar Johnson on there, which, by the way, that guy is exhausting to me because he don't do nothing but scream all the time.
An idiot.
He screams all the time about nothing.
That dude's an idiot.
I'm like, dude, shut up. Nobody, if you black, you don't need to be with no other race. Shut up. Go sit down. I'm tired of you. Your point
is an idiot.
He went off on Prime for a full 15 minutes. Talking about how he sold out the HBCUs. He's supposed to be there to help bring the HBCUs to the limelight. He did, and he's supposed to help bring other ex-NFL players to HBCUs. They got Eddie George at one of the colleges. It's not his fault other people don't want to coach. I mean, what you want the man to do? So yeah, Dr. Umar is ridiculous, and he's very exhausted and pointless, and I'm tired of hearing him.
I'm not mad at Deion. I mean, who doesn't want a promotion in their particular field?
If I'm about to get that $5 million, I'm going to get that $5 million.
I mean, what do they want him to see? I think Deion could have stayed at Jackson State for another 10, 15 years and then left, and they still would have called him a sellout. So
yeah,
yeah, that's all I got for that one.
He couldn't do nothing else. How you feel, Amir?
I'm a little bit under the weather. My allergies are bothering.
Nice.
Wait,
I get that. I get
that. Yeah, you guys are totally right. I like the fact that when he addressed, the media, he addressed the Colorado players, he addressed his own previous players. Come on, he's like, the new rules, you ain't got to stay here. You looked at the transfer portal, open up immediately. He's like, you guys ain't got to stay here. You come with me. And then when he showed up to Colorado, he said, I got my own baggage. I'm bringing my own players. I got my own luggage.
Louis.
I love what he told him. He was like, and if you don't like it, go get in the portal.
Yeah. And the first thing he looked at the quarterback in Colorado was like, you ain't it.
I'm bringing a guy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So you were 1-10. Colorado was 1-10.
I'm bringing a guy.
Not wrong.
I think what the people are totally missing in this situation is not that Deion Sanders is black, is that Deion Sanders is real. He's transparent.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, I like you. You can go. I like you.
Exactly.
You guys ain't big enough. You gotta start eating some more. Matter of fact, come over to the house. It's Thanksgiving. Mama Sanders gonna feed all of y'all. That's just who he is. He's real.
Exactly.
And that's what people always look at the color of the skin. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm not trying to vote on either side. Y'all know I'm not. But get away from looking at the skin.
You're right.
Yep.
Look at the issue at hand. Deion he's real. He lost 2 toes doing it. Throughout all of that. He gave back, lost 2 toes, had to pay his assistants and his own money. And Colorado was like, we'll pay you $5 million and we'll pay your assistants.
Right.
Deal. That's a deal.
They didn't even have drinkable water.
Exactly.
Before
that's crazy.
That's crazy. You know what I mean? And this dude was coming out his own pockets, upgrading the locker rooms, upgrading the facility. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want him to do?
Didn't Brett Favre upgrade the facilities?
Yeah, he did with the state of Mississippi's money.
Deion came out of his pocket. Brett Favre came out of Mississippi's pocket. It's a whole difference. And see, that was another reason Deion had to come out of his pocket because Brett Favre was taking the money from Mississippi, so he couldn't get to Jackson State.
Yeah, he was funneling towards Southern Mississippi.
I just had to throw that in there.
That's a whole.
But you're right though. You're not wrong at all. You know what I mean? Like you're exactly on point. Exactly right. They're more upset with Deion leaving than Brett Favre stealing.
Right, which is a shame. It is a shame, but whatever. They're never going to get to the bottom of it. I see our studio audience stop commenting, and I don't know what happened. We got the Heisman finalists out. Who from the list do y'all see doing the thing? You got Stetson, you got Dugan, you got Stroud, you got Williams.
I still think Caleb Williams, although he laid an egg last game.
The numbers are really close.
I still think Caleb Williams wins it though. That's just me. I think it'll be Caleb Williams, CJ Stroud, Stetson, and Dugan, probably in that order.
I don't know. I think everybody's underestimating Stetson.
Man, that dude's like a 38-year-old senior. He's supposed to be doing that.
That makes it even more impressive because he's 38 years old and he's still.
It worked for was it Jason White when he was in Oklahoma? So when he was out there for 8 years and won 2 Heisman back in the day.
So,
but hey, he's leading a program. Granted, they're stacked in every freaking position.
Right.
I
think before where USC had the Pac-12, Pac-10.
Mm-hmm.
I think before that championship game, Williams was far and away the front runner. I think that did bring him down some, but I think he still has enough. He had enough to still have the lead right now. But I think Stetson and Stroud are right there with him. So, but I do think Williams is going to win it.
For me, he won the College Player of the Year.
So
last night, Caleb Williams. I'm speaking of. So
yeah, I think he go get it.
I still think he gets it, but I may be in the minority there. On the well, I don't know, Jim. You kind of agree with me.
What do you?
Who do you think, Amir?
I'm gonna go with Caleb Williams.
Okay, so we're in agreement.
He was the most consistent at the quarterback play.
Right.
So win or lose, he was still putting up the same numbers.
Right.
So I'll give it. But I think it's a lot closer than people are saying though. They're saying he's unanimous.
Right. Yeah. I'm not saying that he's by far and away.
Yeah.
Right.
I think he was a lot closer.
Yeah. It's gonna come down to him and I don't think Dugan had a good story. He had a good season. Stetson, of course, undefeated Georgia, but I just don't know if those two are going to move the needle enough. I think it comes down to Stroud and Caleb Williams, and I'm going Caleb Williams.
There you go. We are in agreement. With that being said, Amir, it is your time to shine, sir. I know you've been waiting on this all day. So let's go ahead and talk about baseball. I'm gonna let you go ahead and kick it off because I know where you're going with it.
I got nothing. No, I'm joking.
He said I got nothing.
Oh
man.
Wait. Can I say it? All rise.
So before he signed with the Yankees, I'm gonna go. The Padres offered $400 million, 11-year deal. Obviously, that doesn't give him the yearly average that he wants, but it'll give him to play into his 40s. The Giants offered him the $360. The deal he got the Yankees. The Giants did that. Giants is the reason why Aaron Judge got his $360 9-year contract. Because the Yankees wasn't trying to offer him more than $300 to begin with, and they upped it just a little bit to $320, and they signed. Great, that's great. The Yankees still need a lot of help though to fill out that lineup. So they're still in the exact same position they was last year. So obviously they didn't really move the needle. What moved the needle for me is the deals the New York Mets are doing. obviously they are in the biggest competitive division with the Braves and Phillies, and a monster of a 3-team division there. We're not even talking about the other two. That's irrelevant. Granted, they got the pitching. Miami got the pitching to stop these batters, but they don't have any hitting. So I'm not going to focus on Miami. Before we get to your Braves here, and the Braves did most of their work, obviously, throughout the season. They were smart.
My Braves ain't did nothing this offseason for real.
They didn't
little
need
minor
to.
tweaks. Little minor.
They didn't need to. They were the only team that was active during the whole season, filling out the cornerstones.
Right.
And the only issue, and it came out today, I don't know if you saw it, Dansby Swanson said that the Braves have yet to talk to him since the season ended.
And for me, that AA kind of said that's how it was gonna go. Like they, it's such a wide gap between what they're offering and what he's expecting at this point. The last thing I saw was the Braves offering between 15 to 16 million a year. He wants obviously 25 to 26. So that's a $10 million gap. You know what I mean? So
it's a huge gap.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So that's something that I don't know if that can be bridged. I ultimately don't think Swanson is back in Atlanta.
So the Twins, surprisingly, have a contract on the table for Swanson for 7 years, 140.
So 20.
That'll give him $20 million a year.
So if the Braves can't find that 4 or 5, I believe that's the reason he hasn't signed yet. But that's the contract on the table for Swanson right now. Nobody else has offered him anything but Minnesota. Correa got offered today.
Who?
Or it came out that he got offered with I think it was with the Giants. I think it was.
Who did?
I think it was the Giants. Correa. Carlos Correa.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just about to get to that. Correa is actually right now talking to the Yankees.
Yeah, it was with the Yankees. That was the report I saw. It was with.
So
right.
there's no numbers right now, even though Correa does have a contract on the table with the Giants. But the Yankees are trying to swoop in and get Correa and Carlos Rodon on long-term contracts as well. So that's why those two haven't signed anywhere. The Yankees are trying to match what the Phillies have done, going back to your division. They're trying to match what the Mets have done, because the Mets have done something that no team has ever done in the history of baseball.
$300 million.
Gone over $300 million twice.
$300 million.
And that's the reason why that tax is in play, and they call it the Steve Cohen tax.
Yep. So
after you pass 293.
So with that tax, they're paying almost $400 million. It's like what,
yes.
398, I think it was. I saw.
Yeah, because you're paying 90% to the dollar every year. You hold on to these guys, and they don't care.
That's crazy.
They don't, and they're not done spending. But wait, there's more. That's what the Mets are. That's the Mets mentality. It's all in or nothing.
Right.
They went with Verlander, $44 million a year for 2 years, with a vesting option for $33 million in the third year. They went with they re-signed Brandon Nimmo. They went bullpen. Obviously, they re-signed Edwin Diaz. They got David Robertson. They made a trade with Tampa Bay with Brooks Raley. And they're talking right now to that Japanese pitcher who's going to command another $20 million a year. The Mets are not done spending.
And speaking of Japanese, Yoshida.
I was hoping
overpay, right?
Hold on. Yes, I was hoping, and that's why I tagged Manny Paola. I'm not hating. Granted, I am a natural-born Boston hater.
Let me see if I can
get it. They overpaid and let go of Xander Bogaerts.
11 years, 280 with the Padres.
Yes, they were only offering him 180 for like 6-7 years. That was the Red Sox offer. 180 tops.
Over 6 years, you said?
6 or 7 years, something like that.
So he ultimately took less money then. Per year. Less money per year.
So let me tell you something about ball players. Baseball specifically. If you get into your 30s or 28, 28, 29, 30, and beyond. If you can get a 10-year deal, you know where your career lies, period. You don't have to worry about this anymore.
Right.
That's why they want that contract. Carlos Rodon is 33, 34, 33, I think, 32, 33. He wants a 7-year contract because they want to be able to get to their 40s on that same contract because it's guaranteed pay.
Right. Makes sense.
So don't offer me, granted, it's more money up front, but I want to play till I'm 40. So I want more money long term. And I want financial security for me and my family. And Xander Bogaerts,
I can't live on $30 million a year.
Which is sad. I know, right? It's crazy. But here's where the chips fall for the Red Sox. And I'm hoping Manny Paolo watches this. I hope David Leroy Harding. And I know there's a bunch of other Red Sox fans out there. Rafael Devers comes up a free agency next year. What's he going to do when he sees his friends already gone? JD Martinez, gone. He was a cornerstone of that. Devers is going to look, I have no more Spanish-speaking friends because I can't speak English, and it's a big deal. I'm not being
No. I'm laughing because of the way you said it, not because of what you said. But yes, you're right.
Hispanic players, majority don't speak English. They want to be with other Hispanics.
Right.
They want their brothers. Just like you trade away my friend, you don't re-sign my friend. I'm gonna be mad about that. That's my boy.
Right.
And it goes back to the Giants and OBJ and Saquon. That's why I said they're now the front runners to re-sign OBJ. You want your family around you as you're doing this. Why not play the sport that you love, get paid incredibly, and hang out with your brothers? That's heaven. That's heaven on earth.
Right.
So they're losing JD Martinez. He was a free agent. I don't think they're going to re-sign him unless he takes a huge pay cut. Bogaerts is out. That moves Trevor Story to shortstop, but then they got a rookie second baseman coming up. That's supposed to be good. They got Hosmer at first. So they're going to be okay. They sent Kelly Jensen. So that's a big deal. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
But going back to who you asked, that Mashitaka, whatever that guy is.
Yoshida.
Yeah, that guy. Overpaid, overrated, and he's going to be over his head in Boston.
We're definitely in agreement that he was overpaid. I didn't think he was. I think he got probably double what I thought he was going to get.
He wasn't ranked in the top 100 free agents. That's crazy to me. In Major League Baseball, he was not ranked in the top 100. So, I don't know. I don't know. Who else we got?
Let me go look at what
the Astros picking up Jose Abreu was huge.
And we broke it on the show last week, but we didn't really get to touch on it. DeGrom to the Rangers, 5 years, 185. What's the significance of that one?
I wanted to go through the TV screen and slap the crap out of him when he said that I'm here to bring a World Series to the Texas Rangers.
What else was he supposed to say, though?
No,
what else was he supposed to say? I'm here to take y'all money? Because that's what he's doing, but what else was he supposed to say?
Now, they're in a lot better position than they were last year. I give them that. They got a new manager, Bruce Bochy, who's a two-time World Series manager. They brought in Mike Maddox. Maybe they would have brought in Greg Maddox that would help the pitchers a little bit more, but Mike Maddox is not a bad pitching coach.
If Greg comes back to coach, he better park his butt in the A.
So they're a little bit. Obviously, you signed Jacob deGrom, you're going to be better,
right?
But you're in a division.
Not World Series.
The Astros and the Mariners and everybody else is way under.
I think even the Angels are will be ahead of the Rangers. Because with DeGrom, you're not going to get a guy that's going to go out and make 30 to 40 starts. You know what I mean? Like he's going to miss some time.
He'd be lucky if he gets 30. Yeah,
he's going to miss some time. You know what I mean? If he can go out and get you 20 starts, you're lucky. That's based off of what he's done the last few years with the Mets. He go out and he gets you 20 starts, you're lucky. I think, He went and got his money. I'm not mad at him. He went and got his money.
He's quite possibly the best pitcher in Major League Baseball when healthy.
But
that's the thing is like when health is always a question.
It's what Bet says all the time. The best ability is availability, and he hasn't been available.
No, so I commend the Mets for not giving that huge contract because they know they're only with Justin Verlander for the next 2 seasons. So they know they have a 2-year window. With Scherzer and Verlander, but that's it. Who's the rest of their roster? I mean, pitching rotation.
Are they going to try to get Bassett back?
No, Bassett wants a 4-year deal, and he kind of earned it. I don't see him returning to the Mets. I think he's going to get the max what he's earned.
He's going to get what he's earned, right?
Yeah, I don't see him going back. I don't.
Where do you think he ultimately ends up?
It could honestly be anywhere.
I know, Major League Baseball is like, it's anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just the big money teams that can go out and snatch up players. It's wide open. I understand that, but
he can go anywhere.
Your expertise, your opinion, where do you think he ends up?
I think he ends up in San Francisco. I think he goes to the Giants. Yeah, the Giants already said they had the money. The issue is nobody wants to go and play over there. They're literally offering these contracts to these players, but nobody wants to go to San Francisco. And I'm telling you right now because they're way behind the Dodgers and Padres.
Right.
And at this point, if we're looking on paper, it's the Padres and Dodgers. The Dodgers ain't done nothing. I wish Jimmy could have stick around.
But
he had another 3-on-3 basketball tournament.
But did they need to do anything?
Who?
Were they the Dodgers? Were they so much better than the rest of the division last year that they didn't need to do much of anything? Touch around the they lost some pieces too, though.
They lost a lot of people.
Yeah, they lost. They lose Justin Turner. Yeah, you're right.
They lost a lot of. The issue with the Dodgers is they get to the playoffs and choke. They won that COVID year where LA was winning all the COVID championships.
The bubble series.
Yeah. So that for me, that'll be an asterisk next to the Lakers and next to the Dodgers.
Well, that whole LA scene.
Yes. They're the only ones that survived COVID and won championship.
It was too hot. The sun was too hot in LA for them to get COVID. That's what we're going to go with.
You don't lose a Trey Turner and a Cody Bellinger and get better. You don't sign anybody.
The Cubs.
And then they're talking about Mookie Betts is going to play full time at second base.
I saw that. So who do you put in? Who do you put? But that was if they could get judged, though, right?
No, that was they're trying right? Well, Mookie Betts is susceptible to injuries. They're starting to notice that. So they're trying to save him and save his career by moving him to second base permanently.
How is putting it? And this is like you're the baseball guy. This is me honestly asking, because I don't understand. Like, how does moving a player from the outfield to second base save their career?
He doesn't have to run as much. Saves his legs. So they're most of his injuries have been lower, whether it's abdomen, ab, and thigh, quad, his injuries has been nagging from, mid. So unless he has a back injury, second base is safe.
He said second base is safe.
So that's their mentality. They're trying to save him. So I'm pretty sure they're going to go Chris Taylor, center field instead of Bellinger. And I haven't looked at the roster lately. I know they re-signed Clayton Kershaw, $21 million just for this one season. But they haven't done anything.
Right.
So it's cause for concern. Justin Turner is a free agent also. Right. Craig Kimbrell is a free agent. And all these guys are not expected back in the Dodgers. They're supposed to be going to some type of youth movement because they do have a lot of talent in the farm system. So
you brought up Cody Bellinger. He signed, obviously, the 1-year deal, $17.5 million, I think it was, with the Cubs. prove it deal. I mean, that's what that was. I know we were talking through text during this week, and whenever I posted that one, you was like, "Go ahead."
You're right. No, you're right. You absolutely. I didn't like it at first. Obviously, I thought about it, and I still don't. Honestly, I still don't. I believe he could have got a 3-year deal somewhere, but he's a 2-time MVP. No, one time. He lost.
He won it one time.
Lost to Yelich.
But I mean, he won it young though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he came in second. He came in second to Yelich. He's a 1-time MVP. He came in second the year after. For me, I believe he still deserved a 3-4 year contract. That's why I was kind of against that one to begin with. Now, when people talk about the Chicago Cubs and Wrigley Field, they always say the cozy confines. Those words are always synonymous with Wrigley Field. Why? Because it's a hitter's park.
Right.
So Bellinger is trying to say exactly. If he can hit 286, 30, 40 home runs and 100 RBIs for a 60-win team, guess what? Next year, when everybody spent their money this year, he might be the top free the next year. Right. So,
and that was my thinking whenever, we were talking.
I didn't think about it at first. You're right.
And that was my thinking, like, hey, it's 1 year prove it deal. Like you said, he's going into a hitter's ballpark, put up some big numbers, get paid next year.
I just didn't think that his numbers dropped that much to just be, and he's still young to get a.
But he was hurt. He was hurt most of last year too, right?
He was. He's been hurt the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. So I mean, so
has Mookie Betts.
His market but I mean that's Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts already had his money. You know what I mean? Mookie Betts already got paid. You know what I mean? So I mean, he has to rebuild himself back up, go out, prove yourself. Like you said, small ballpark, hit a few home runs, get a few hundred RBIs, get paid next year.
Yeah, Chicago's a long way from competing, but
and speaking of Chicago, they lost Wilson Contreras to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I saw that one coming last year. Honestly, I really believe since he didn't get traded, I thought he was going to get traded, but since he didn't get traded, the moment he didn't get traded, I really thought that Wilson would end up with the Cardinals. He was close, and again, it was more of a Spanish-speaking connection. He even said it. He was like, it was an honor for him to play against St. Louis because he was close to Pujols and Molina. Yeah. And he said, you know what? I want to be that guy. So he already had in his mind last year that he's going to end up in St. Louis. And he sent out a tweet today. I don't know if you saw it. He said, I'm thankful for being a Cub. Now it's my job to beat the Cubs. Right. That was his tweet, not mine. I read it. And he said, he was honored.
Right.
He wanted to be the guy that replaced Yadier Molina. Right. So that was easy. I do believe the Cardinals are still one guy away from being that team in the National League because obviously
there's a lot of
Phillies, Braves, Mets right out the back.
Dodgers, Padres. I mean,
there's the Central is theirs to lose, in my opinion. I think they still need pitching. Chris Bassett can end up there. I would if I was them. And I would throw some money at Dansby Swanson if I was them.
And there was a report earlier in the week that they were in contact trying to get something done with Dansby Swanson.
I would. Heck, I would even use a Hispanic connection and bring in Correa. You got the other Puerto Rican at third base, Nolan Arenado. You can go ahead and fry, some pork and then Honduras and all that. You know what I'm saying? That's my people.
Right. No, yeah.
And they can all eat in the infield position. Imagine the infield with Nolan Arenado, Carlos Correa, and Paul Goldschmidt, and Wilson Contreras. That team will be the team to beat.
What was I about to say? There was something I was about to touch on, and we got talking about the Cardinals, and I went blank.
I'm excited. This was equivalent to a few years ago when I don't know if you remember when the NBA had their it There's like 10 teams that had dual superstars. And
Mhm.
everybody was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a really competitive season. I'm seeing that in Major League Baseball. Like everybody, for some reason, these owners are saying, I don't really care about
The money.
money,
Street tax.
which is crazy to me. And I get it, they're billionaires.
When Liberty Media, the owners of the Braves, said, "Hey, we don't care about what the payroll's looking like this year. Go out and fill the winner." I was like, "Yeah, it just got real," because Liberty Media has been some of the stingiest, in Major League Baseball. So when they said that, hey, we're gonna push well past 200 mil as far as total payroll, I was like, yeah, it's getting real.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy, but what the Mets are doing, it's unprecedented.
Yeah,
that's insane to me. And it all goes back to that. Like everybody's trying to play catch up. And I got a bunch of Mets friends. I grew up,
right
in New Jersey, and there's nothing but Mets around me. And to me, they're still not that team.
And they're not. And that's not me being a Braves fan being biased, but they're not.
Yeah,
I think the Braves are still above them. You know what I'm saying?
They got the exact same team. They fixed up their bullpen some. I give them that. But all they did was replace Verlander with DeGrom. And I'm not necessarily sold on it long term.
Right.
So
I think
they still got to make some moves.
I think for me, it goes back to, what do they have coming up the pipeline? The Mets. I mean, like, their farm system what is it looking like?
It's depleted. When they made that trade for Francisco Lindor, they gave up that team that the Guardians have right now. That was the Mets farm system. They gave up Jimenez. They gave up Rosario. They gave up that tall guy that hit the base hit against the Yankees that won that game. I forgot his name. But that was all the Mets farm system. They gave it all up for Francisco Lindor.
Right.
And that's why the Guardians were able to be competitive. Because they had some good guys coming up,
right.
And there were a couple pitches short the Guardians were, but there's nobody that stands out in the Mets farm system that says our future is secure. Because it's not, Pete Alonso, Lindor, Nimmo, Marte. Well, they got the catcher. That's about it. The catcher they brought up at the end of last year was the only guy they was banking on. Valdez or something like that. That was it. That's all they had in the minor league system was their catcher. Outside of that, they don't have it. They don't have it. We talked a lot of baseball. We talked a lot of football. We talked a lot of, not much football, and a little bit of basketball. Obviously, we talked to BG. I think we pretty much covered everything that we could this week. Flint,
we forget anything? I don't think we forgot anything. I said no. I was saying I was agreeing with you. I think we covered, the major.
Right. We didn't touch on the college football playoffs. I know the rankings came out this week, but we got time. We got a couple weeks, and we will break down. We will break down the college football playoffs before the playoffs.
Yeah. We'll talk about it because you're right. We didn't get into that, but we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. Toward the beginning of the show. We don't want to end the show on something like that, but we'll get into that next week when we have hopefully have our full cast.
So that's
Rob didn't get out, land. Jim had to go to the Pelicans game.
Yep, Rob is cooking his greens tonight. He couldn't be on the show.
Our resident chef.
He sends a salute to everybody.
Our resident chef.
I think that's our show. We're not going to prolong it anymore.
Before we do get off, Rob's daughter celebrated her Sweet 16 a couple of days ago. So
that's right. Happy Sweet 16.
Happy Sweet 16.
That's why he's cutting up those greens to pay for her 16 party.
But yeah, we pretty much covered everything we need to get done today. So that's our show for this week. Tune in next week. We'll get into, like you said, we'll get into the college playoffs a little bit more since we didn't get to really touch on it much this week.
We will also know quick sidebar. We also know who will be in the finals of the World Cup presently. We will know. We'll briefly discuss that next week. The round of 8 started today, so it'll be today, tomorrow.
There was a big upset in soccer today too, right? No.
Well, I'm not gonna say it was an upset. Brazil was ranked number 1 coming in, but they did crap the bed because they were up and literally minutes left in the game. Croatia scored the goal. They sent it to penalty kicks. Croatia ended up winning that, well, Croatia ended up second last year, 4 years ago. World Cup was every 4 years, so they have a veteran squad. They've been there before. They know how to win. In theory, it was an upset, but we'll talk more. We'll have the finals. We'll just recap that briefly next week. Congratulations to the United States for getting to the round of 16. That's always a plus when the United States can play some football. I think it's time for me to go drink some soju. Fleck, what you got going on tonight?
Man, I'm watching SmackDown, man. I ain't got no life. I ain't got no life until I get ready to come to San Antonio. That's the only time I get out the house is when I get out of town. So I ain't got nothing going on.
All right, brother.
Well,
we'll call it a show
for this week. On behalf of myself,
thank everybody for watching.
On behalf of myself and Poppy Ortiz, see you guys next week.